G'day, it's Rusty from Rusty's Outback Adventures, and in today's video we're heading off on a 4-week prospecting trip, and this is our overnight camp on the first day. We left Perth this morning. We've done about 600 k's. It's starting to get, sun's starting to go down, and we're camped here at a place called the Bullabulling Reservoir, and we're about 5 k's out of Bullabulling, which is about 30 k's west of Coolgardie. So we're heading to a location sort of east of Coolgardie, which is between Kalgoorlie and Leonora. So we're going out east of there, and we're going to spend a bit of time on a few different leases. Setup is pretty much as it usually is when we go away. I'll just show you the setup. Now we've got the nav running with the new engine in it. The back's pretty much as it always is. We've got the 2 angles set up here. That's our fridge, that's our freezer, the usual table and solar panels, detector gear, food and tools and things around there. We're not running the quad bike this time away. We've got just a storage box, a couple of spare tyres, usual camper trailer setup, and I'm travelling with a prospecting friend of mine, Ted, who's set up here. He's got a troopy with a small caravan, and he's got a bit more luxury than I have. Just say g'day, Ted. How are you, Ted? How was the trip today? All right?
Rough. Too many bumps in the highway.
Yeah, some of the highways are a bit rough actually. There's a lot of roadworks going on as well. A few trucks around, but yeah. So this is day one, and it's freezing cold out here. It is winter time, so yeah, we are going to get a bit of cold night. So I think we might have the fire cranked a little bit tonight. So yeah, all right. Stay tuned, and we'll hope you can stay along for the video. And let's hope hope we can find some yellow rocks along the way, which is the plan. We've got a few other things we'll probably get into as well. So in the meantime, this is day one. This is our camp for the night. Well, we've left our overnight campsite, and we're just driving through Coolgardie now, and on our way to Cal. A couple of things to do at the shops in Kalgoorlie. Rusty's forgot to pack a couple of things, so we'll need to just grab them in Kalgoorlie, and then we'll be heading out to the goldfields. So just driving into Kalgoorlie now. There's a lot of industry here, a lot of support industry for the mining that goes on around town and in the area, and we're just going up to the main shopping centre, and we'll just need to duck into Woolworths and get a couple of things. So that's the plan for this morning, and then we'll be on the road out to where we're going to go prospecting for a few weeks. Well, we've done our shopping in Kalgoorlie, and now we're heading out to our campground, which will be our mining lease that we're going out onto to spend the next couple of weeks. So we're a bit of gravel after this bitumen, a couple of hours drive to get there. So yeah, sun's out today, which wasn't yesterday. It was pretty cloudy yesterday, and there's not so much wind today. It was really windy yesterday, but yeah, hopefully the weather stays fine for us. Out there you can see a low-lying area. That's all part of Lake Rayside, and Lake Rayside runs from Leonora all the way down through the back of Coolgardie and further south. So the road we're on is actually following part of this, so I just thought we'd stop and have a quick look. I don't think it's had much water in it for a while, but that's Lake Rayside, part of the whole lake system through there. And this is a causeway across the lake system. So if we're a bit cheeky, we might just stop here and take a bit of a look. Alright, so this is a causeway across the lake, or the whole lake system. This is one section of it. So it's pretty low lying. There's Ted. It's a huge expanse of low lying area. Does look a little bit wet out there. we've just made camp for the day, and this is where we're going to be for the next few weeks. And we've just found a spot here, and I've just noticed that we have a leak coming from the fitting on my water tank. Now you can see this, but I've obviously caught something on that leak, on that fitting there, coming through a crossing or something. We had a few dry creek beds to come through, so yeah. First order of business was to set up camp, but now first order of business is to fix that leak. And it's got 70 litres of water and I can't afford to lose any of that, so that'll be first priority. So the plan now is we're just going to empty this tank using the electric pump that's in the cupboard here, and we'll just pump water into these buckets, which have got a few spare ones, get the water out of that water tank, and then we'll be able to fix it without trying to worry about losing too much water. So it might be a bit of a slow process, but that's what we're going to be doing. We'll just empty this water out and then we'll try and fix it. Well, there's the cracked fitting that come out of the water tank, and we've managed to find in Ted's bag of tricks a couple of fittings that we've put in there, and we've just we've celasticed a fitting into that elbow, and when that celastic goes off I'll put that hose back on. So we've emptied the tank. What we've got to do now is put that back on, and then we can put the water back in the tank, so hopefully we haven't lost much. Well, the repair we made to the water tank, with the fitting coming out here that we broke, we caught on something, we've managed to, the first time we did it, it was leaking, so we pulled the fitting out, re-celastic it, put it back in again. It says cure time 24 hours, so I actually left it 24 hours this time. Screwed it back together again, just filled the tank full of water, and yeah, it's all good to go. I guess the moral of the story here might be, if you is to carry a spare fitting of things that you have under the vehicle or under the trailer, and the other thing might be some sort of guard or plate that we could protect that with, because if we go through a similar sort of crossing or similar sort of off-road conditions and we actually catch it on something, we're just going to rip it off again. So yeah, something to look at for before we go away again. Well, we had some rain overnight, and this morning it's pretty grey and cloudy and overcast, and that wind is freezing. But anyway, it won't deter us. Off to a spot just behind us at the moment. We're just going to go out and have a bit of a swing and see if we can find anything. Ground looks nice, so yeah, I'll just give you a quick pan around now we're here. Solar panels out, not doing much at the moment. The one on the roof of the nav's not doing much either. Set up here, Ted set up over there, and yeah, it's like I said, a bit cloudy, a bit overcast, but we're here to go detecting, so we'll head out, and if we find anything we'll certainly let you know. Well, I've been out here for about an hour and I've found about 6 pieces of junk, wire, a couple of nails, the brass end of a shotgun shell, but I've got one here and it's different, and I'll just let you have a listen to this. I'll just show you what this sounds like. Alright, so if you can probably hear my speaker from here. It's not in one spot, it's not sure whether it's a hot rock. They say if you come in from a 90-degree angle you might see it differently or hear it. Yeah, there's definitely something, and it's maybe in here. So I'm just going to turn the camera off. I'm just going to have a little dig and I'll come back over it and see what it sounds like, if it is really a target or not. Well, I've had a scrape. Oh, stop it. You can see I've had a bit of a scrape of the ground, and I've just ground balanced my coil again. I'll just go over it. No. I'm not really convinced that's a target. I think it's more the ground. I think you know when you've hit a target. So, alright, we'll fill the hole in and keep going. And the ground we're prospecting on is a live mining tenement. And as I said before, we have permission to be here. I'm just wandering through the bush, swinging a detector, and I've just come across this. I'll just show you. Now what this looks like to me is a series of old sample bags from a drilling program. So obviously this must have been a long time ago, because these plastic bags are pretty rotten on the surface, and there's several rows of them here. There's another row of sample bags there. So if that's the sample bags, there must be a drill hole somewhere. And if I pan around here, I'll just walk over this way, I've just discovered this. Now so obviously that's a drill hole. The geologist must have thought this area was worth drilling to do some samples. And yeah, there's the bags over there. I don't know where the rest of them went, but yeah, interesting what you find out the middle of what appears to be the middle of nowhere. And last night I cooked on an open fire, and we just used a wire frame and a hot plate like this one here. Here's the hot plate, and it's just a wire frame over the fire, and the hot plate fits over the top. What we've got here is, this is a 4-piece collapsible fire pit that my twin brother Rusty from Rusty's Metal Cut Signs and Designs made. And if you want to check out his channel, I'll put a link in the description below. He's a good bloke. And this is it's actually got St Kilda on the end of it. And the reason it's got St Kilda on the end is because Ted is a St Kilda fan. So he wanted me to, and I've actually got the ends back to front, because it's supposed to read St Kilda the right way around. Anyway, don't tell him. So yeah, we're going to cook on this tonight, and this hot plate fits over the top. And I've also got these open grill frames as well, and we're going to try them as well. So when we do fire it up, we'll show you how it works. Hopefully it'll work really well, and we get to cook tea on it, and should have the St Kilda flame burning brightly for Ted. So all right, I'll show you how it works later on. Well, we've had the fire pit going for a while now. We've got spuds in alfoil there. Hot plate's been on for a while, so we're just about to throw some meat on. Alright, so there's this nice looking lamb chop we've got there. Right, so we've got lamb chop, some snags, and so I'm pretty pleased with it. We've got a fair few coals in there now, and we just let it go down a bit. The hot plate's quite warm, so looking forward to seeing how that comes out. Should be fine. So that's come out a treat. That chop, snags, sweet potato in alfoil, baked potato in alfoil, and half a carrot. Alright, looking forward to getting into this. The only thing I forgot, Rusty forgot to pack the barbecue sauce, so we'll have to go without that, unfortunately. Well, we had a bit of rain overnight, as you can see by the some of the water on the ground here, and I know there's a creek over the other side there, but yeah, and the weather this morning's not looking that flash. There's a big grey storm front coming through here, and a little bit of water come in under the annex last night, but yeah, it's a bit of a miserable old morning this morning. Come to the goldfields, they said. The weather's lovely, but it is winter, so well, unfortunately the rain has set in and we're getting a bit flooded here. So what do you do when it floods? You get your shovel out and you work out where the water's going to flow. So the beauty of this pin down ground, oops, a bit wet there, as soon as it gets wet and gets all brown, you can then dig a little bit of a trench and see where the water's flowing. It's exactly what I've done. So what it's doing is it's all coming down here. I just dug a little trench, helped it along its way, and it's trying to get over to that creek over there. So followed the brown water and it's found its own natural way, and I've just cleared a little bit out, so we're actually making its way over to the creek. So at least we're getting it away from camp. The downside is I think we're here for a bit longer, because this ground, as I can show you just here, look at this, look. See, that ground is pretty yuck. So now it's wet, you're not going to be able to drive on this for a few days. As you can see, all my footprints here have just left inch deep holes. So we're sort of here for a bit longer now. We won't be able to get out, the road will be too wet. So we just make the most of it. Well, a big contrast from this morning when it was yuck and overcast, raining and water everywhere. Place is pretty dry on the surface at least. The water's dried up. We've been able to try and dry some gear that got wet. And I'll just show you, I didn't have a picture yesterday, but just come down here. This is the creek. I guess we probably can't be close, but this is the creek that yesterday was bone dry, and I walked across it heading for the other, whoop, so he says he's sinking, heading for the other side with swinging the detector. This creek here was bone dry. So in the space of overnight rain and this morning, this is actually flowing quite well now. It's flowing a lot of water. Not really sure where it goes, but it's heading that way. So yeah, it's amazing how quickly the water drains off and also gets down these creeks. So as you saw last night, we used this 4-piece collapsible fire pit, and we didn't really get a lot of airflow coming through the sides. What we've done today is I've just measured some lines here. We're gonna cut some slots in this with the battery grinder. So just to try and promote a bit of airflow, we're just going to use a 1-inch cut-off disc, and we're going to cut through here and just see if it works. If it doesn't, well, hey, we're field prototyping something, so happy to cut a few slots in it. So that's what we're going to try. Now I've got it clamped to this. This is the frame that I use when I just have an open fire with a hot plate on it, and all the safety gear, earmuffs, respirator, gloves, the whole deal. Someone asked me in a recent video why I carry my battery tools and my grinder and drill and stuff. I said, you never know, you might break down, you might need something. Well, this is actually sort of I guess in one way, a similar sort of thing. We need to try and modify something, so we're going to do it on the run. So that's why we carry this stuff. Alright, so there you have it. We've cut some slots in it, and I cut 5 through there. They're only 1 mil thick because that's the thickness of the cutting disc. So they're 1 mil thick, cut with a cutting disc. And I'll just repeat this on the other side that fits onto the fire pit, and we'll give it a go tonight and see how it goes. Maybe the slots need to be a bit bigger. Well, I'm walking along and all of a sudden the detector goes off, and I give it a bit of a scrape. And that's what's just under the surface. That is I don't know, it's big. It's probably, I don't know, 44 caliber maybe? 44-40 shell. No wonder the detector screamed its head off. Hang on a second, let's give me a look. Yeah, 44-40, it says on the back. Maybe you can't see, that might be a bit blurry. But yeah, someone's been out here having some fun, but it's not gold, but I can add it to my list of junk that I found this morning. There you go. Well, I've just picked up a target, and I don't know what it is. I'll just show you where I think it is. So I think it's in about here where my toe of my boot is. Just come in from another direction and see if it's the same. Now I'm sort of using this area of the coil as a guide to where I think it is in the ground. So I'll just give it a quick scrape and see what I find. Yes. So that tells me it's out. So I'm going to split this pile in half, see if I can isolate it in the pile. Hope you're seeing this. Maybe let's turn this camera around a bit. Alright, maybe you're seeing that. It's in here, it's in my scoop. Not in the scoop, so it's in my hand. Okay, so it's in my hand. You wouldn't believe it. It's a piece of wire. A little tiny piece of wire. Hope you're seeing that. Damn. Oh, we'll dig the hole in and carry on. Well, just an update on the mods we've been doing to the fire pit. This is version 3.0. The 1mm slots that I put in the side of it didn't really work. Obviously weren't big enough. And what we've done now is, if you can see down here, we've cut some 8mm wide slots, just drilled a hole in each end of the original slot and then run another cut above it. So we've taken, and that just made a big difference. It's cooking really well. It's drawing a lot of air through it, which is making it burn a lot better. And yeah, so that's, I guess it's a work in progress, but it's working really well at the moment. We've got onion and carrot in alfoil that side. Down in there's a spud, and on top we've got some chops and snags and a few peas in the saucepan, just boiling away nicely. So yeah, so I think we're on a bit of a winner now with the mods we've done, and I think we'll probably look at building a slightly bigger fire pit in the future to go away and maybe just make some little mods to that airflow. But yeah, it's a, I said, work in progress, but going really well now. Well, I've been wandering around for a little while now, getting lots of bits of tin, old cans, you know, just old bits of wire and stuff, and I'm just getting a bit disillusioned by it all. And I happened to stumble across what looks like an old out camp or something. And I'll just spin the camera around and show you. So sometimes prospecting isn't just about finding gold in the gold sense. Maybe it's also to do with finding some of the history of the place. So I'll just pan around, I'll show you what's here. Let me just spin that around here. So there's this, I don't know, there's a couple of lines of just like quartz, and then there's this concrete path, which I'm not quite sure where it goes to. Over here it just stops, and down here, make your mind up what you think this is. I'm wondering if it might be a grave. I mean, I know people come out here a long time ago, and if they perished, they probably had no option but to bury them where they were, so I'm not sure. And over here there's a big concrete pad, I guess you'd call it, and yeah, a little down here there's an old, looks like an old shaft. There's an old head of an old shovel, which has been here I guess a long time, some old tyres, and over here I just spotted, I reckon that is the chain guard off a push bike. Let me just, what do you reckon? Do you reckon that's a chain guard off a push bike? It certainly looks it. And then down here there's old bits of piping, and I'm not sure what this is, some sort of sullage pit or something. It's got tin over it now. But yeah, you come out here, you think you're in the middle of nowhere, and I'd say by the look of this, would have been people camped here for a while. And like I said, further down, where are we? Down this area here, there's all tins and bits of rubbish all lying around, which I've managed to pick a bit of it up this morning. Not the nugget I'm looking for, but yeah, so it's just an interesting little side note to coming out in the bush. You don't really know what you're going to find till you get out here. So alright, my search for gold continues. Now the drone I fly is a DJI Phantom 4 Pro, and the Phantom 4 Pro has a 1-inch camera sensor, so it gives you a little bit better quality images. It shoots video and it shoots stills, and I can shoot stills in RAW and I can shoot the video in HD right up to 4K. And this is the controller, and Mounted on the controller, you can have a range of iPhone, you can use a tablet or as a flight screen, or I'm using the DJI Crystal Sky, which is a 7.85 inch screen. And the beauty of this is it's designed to be used out in the sunlight, has a better screen, and if you know what your mobile phone's like, if you stand out in the middle of the sun, the screen's quite glary and it's hard to see. So DJI have come up with their own screen. The flight time on the Phantom 4 Pro is approximately 25 to 30 minutes, obviously depending on the wind, and the low battery warning comes up is preset to 30%. So when you're flying with 30% battery level left, you'll get a warning and it's probably time to be bringing it home. It's a great tool to have in your kit bag as another camera. It gets you a different perspective of things, you know, the camp. What we're going to do now is we're going to go and power these up. We're going to go and put the drone in the air and go for a fly around and get some photos and some video of where we're camped. And that creek was flowing the other day, and it doesn't take long for the water to go. So there's actually no water in that creek now, but I'll just fly along it and fly around. You get a bit of an aerial view of what the surrounding area looks like. Okay, so let's go and fly it. Well, after a week out here on the goldfields, I just thought I'd show you some of the rubbish we've been finding. No gold, unfortunately, but this is what I've been finding. This is a bit of barbed wire, a bit of metal, fine little bits of wire, and yeah, they're really annoying. Bullets, that's the cap off a shotgun, a brass end of a shotgun shell. That's a big slug, whatever that is. We saw that 44-40 the other day. 22 shells, the odd bullet that hasn't hit anything. Bits of nail, these tiny little bits. Drink pull tops, the old bottle top. A few bolts here. Bits of metal. Now this is an old tin that's probably broken up. Alfoil. There's heaps of alfoil out there. This bit of, don't know what that was. The shell lid off an old oil can, I guess. Don't know what that is. This is a tin off a lid off a tobacco tin. That's the same. Big horseshoe. There's a railway spike that made the detector scream, and found this little bottle as well. So that's intact without a lid, but that was a bit different. So yeah, that's all I've got to show for the prospecting for the week. If junk was valuable, I think I'll probably be doing okay. But let's hope we find some gold this week. Well, we've been out here on this lease for about a week now, and we haven't found any gold. And with one eye on the weather, because it's coming in a bit funny the next day or two, we've decided to pack up this afternoon, and tomorrow morning we're going to head to another location, probably about 15-20 minutes from here, and we need to get out. There's a couple of creek crossings that are a little bit dodgy, so we want to get out of them before it rains, because if it does, I think we'll be stuck a bit longer. So yeah, fingers crossed that we can move to a new location, find a bit of gold. So the task for me this afternoon is to pack up a lot of the external stuff on the camper trailer, like the annex, take that all down. We can pack up a few of the stuff back in, pack the car and be ready for the morning. So yeah, that's what we're doing this afternoon. Well, it's moving camp day this morning, and you wouldn't read about it. It's raining. We've been through one little creek crossing, was wet, and we've got another couple to go through, so we're just going to take it easy. I've got it in high range 4-wheel drive at the moment, just as a bit of a safety precaution, but yeah, I'll just spin around and show you the weather. That was one of the ones I was worried about. We've got one to go, but that was not too bad. It still got a bit of water in from the other day. So this is the creek crossing I'm a bit concerned about. If I come back here, it's got that big ridge on it, so I'm just going to get my shovel and knock that steep ridge off. And coming through here, I'm going to have to stay on the high side right up here, because see down here, there's that horrible trench with a big hole in it, and I ain't going in there. So I've just got to, yeah, just take that edge off, because it's a bit steep. The angle on this is not conducive to my car. So let me just knock that out of there. All right. Not sure I can do this one-handed, but we'll see how we go. More importantly, I need to not get the car stuck. On the high side up here, the momentum without spinning the wheels. I'm in high 4. A bit of a gooey bit up here. And alright, never in doubt. So that's the worst of it over with. Now we just back down the track onto another one and back into the new location. Well, this is our new camp that we've set up when we moved over here yesterday, and pretty much the same as before. And the weather conditions today are quite overcast. I'll just show you the gloomy sky we've got up here. So there is a forecast for rain today, and that's using the Leonora forecast, because we're sort of about 100 k's south of Leonora, so we're using that as our forecast. I just thought I'd show you the state of the Navarra after the trip yesterday through the muddy creek crossings. You can see it's yeah, the trailer's all covered in yuck. I've actually cleaned some of the mud off the hitch. That was all caked. The chains, obviously, because they're low, dragged through the mud. Yeah, the side of the car's a bit grotty, but I guess you get that when you're out in the bush. Obviously needs a good clean when we get home. Maybe a job for Mrs. Rusty. I know what she'll say to that. While I'm here, I just thought I might explain to you the power system that we're running. As you can see at the moment, we've got a solar panel out here, which is unfortunately not doing a great deal. Ted's got his over there. He's got a fold-up bank of panels. So we've got an external solar panel as well as the one that's up on the roof. If you've seen it before, I've got that's a 160 watt solar panel on the roof and a portable 200. That comes into a Red Arc BCDC 1225D. Let me just put some. And I've got a arrangement of panels. I can actually panel meters. I can see what the solar's coming in. I can see what the charger is putting out, and also what load I've got on the system at the moment, as well as a fuse panel. I've got some circuit breakers, and I've also got a 700 watt inverter, which is what I use to charge my phone battery. So I used to charge my phone, my drone batteries, those sort of things, and the laptop. And down there I've got 200 amp hour AGM deep cycle batteries, and the plan for the future will be to replace those with a lithium battery. They do take up a lot of room. So the importance of being self-sufficient with power, obviously you are relying on the sun, but that's how we get around. And the camper trailer has its own separate system where it has, in the box here, we've got a Red Arc BCDC 1225D, and we've got a single 100 amp hour battery here, and I've also got connections internal, and I've also got some connections here for cigarette lighters, cigarette outlets. I also measure the voltage and the load that we've got on it, and we've basically got two separate systems, but it gives me some flexibility. If one system went down, I can use one to run the other. And that's how we manage our power requirements. We don't run a generator, but we are relying on, obviously, the sun. If I did need to run the car, I would, but obviously you don't want to run the car at idle for too long. So that's just a quick view of how we manage our power system. Well, the sun's out this morning, which is nice. I'll just pan around to the left. You can see, where are we? That direction there is northwest, and if I pan around further, that grey, ominous black cloud through there, that was a front that went through Leonora just this morning, and we heard it bucketed down. So we're east of Leonora, so we've obviously missed that, and we've got a little bit of nice blue sky for a change. So dodged a bullet with the weather there, so that's a good thing. I've come to an area here. My prospecting friend Ted come out here yesterday, and he found a couple of small pieces, and he said to me, go out and have a look. And I've dug this hole, and I got so convinced it was a piece of tin I didn't bother recording it. Anyway, let me just show you what I've dug up. That is a piece of gold, and it screamed. My coil screamed its head off. I'll just show you. Hang on. Look at the size of it. In any man's language, that's a nice piece of gold. 4 or 5 grams maybe. I don't care, it's all gold. How's that? Let me just clean it off and I'll show you what it looks like cleaned up. Right, I've just cleaned it up a little bit. Give you some idea. There's me thumbnail next to it, so you can see how big it is. Get that fly out the way. So yeah, phew. So I'm on the board. It's also, I think it's the second piece of gold with that coil. So yeah, that's the Nugget Finder 17 by 13 oval coil in the new Evolution style. Alright, so we're about to put this nugget on the scale for the first time. Okay, so let's put that on there. 6.34 grams. I'm pretty excited about that. That's a nice find. And I forgot to mention earlier when I dug it out, it was down about probably 100 mil. But yeah, the detector certainly screamed when it ran over it, and I just assumed it was another piece of junk. But yeah, that's why you dig every target. I've been finding junk for the last week and a half. Now, we've been at this campsite since Thursday of last week, and today's Monday, so was that 4 days. The car hasn't run, so the battery can get down a little bit. So I don't want to run the engine and idle it for just to charge the battery, because being a new engine, I'm sort of conscious of that. So what I've got is I always carry, besides I carry a solar panel, the portable one, I carry a spare solar regulator. And what I've done is, I'll just show you what I've done here, is I've taken my solar panel, the one on the roof of the nav is looking after the batteries at the moment. So I've got a solar panel coming in through this little inline meter that just tells me the current and the volts coming in, into this MPPT Platinum Series solar controller. And this is one of the controllers that actually comes off the solar panels, but I don't use it as such. And the inputs into the panel and the output, I've got 2 alligator clips onto the battery. And the other thing I've got is I've just got a little digital voltmeter there. It's reading 13.4. I've only just hooked it up. Now what I have done too is I've disconnected the battery leads. I didn't want to cause any issues with any spark in the electronics or whatever inside, so I've made up a little temporary ocky strap arrangement to keep that positive cable away from the battery, and I'll leave it here for a few hours. And I just want to charge this battery, and we're not moving for another couple of days, so I didn't want it to sit here and have a chance of going flat. Alright, I've got a target here. I come in from 90 degrees just to check it, see if it's still there. Okay, so I'm going to dig it. Just let me dig it up first, because I can't hold my phone and dig at the same time, and I'll come back and show you if I find anything. Well, this one's got me stumped, because I've been over that pile a couple of times and I get a noise off the pile. When I take each shovel full and put it over the coil, I get nothing. So I've sort of got a feeling it's either a hot rock or it's just a bit of ground noise. So I think we'll abandon this one. I haven't found it, and I've been through the pile 3 or 4 times. Alright, I wouldn't let it stump me. So what I did was I moved the pile and went over it again, and it actually wasn't in the pile. It was still in the ground over here. So I dug it up, and here it is. Don't want to get the camera too close to call it screws. Have a look at that little baby. Oh, where are we? There. It's only a little bit. It's only a little piece of gold, but I'm glad I didn't walk away from it. So let me get this in my hand here. Look at that. It's only a little bit, but I'll take a little bit every day of the week. So there you go. That's probably only 0.3, 0.4 of a gram, but it's all gold, and I'm really happy that I kept digging that one. So there you go. Always dig your target, because you never know what it is. All right, I've walked 3 meters from the other piece, and I've just got this. Yeah, that screams. All right, so again, I'll dig it up. I'll have a scratch around the ground. I'll come back and see what we find. Well, we've hit another piece. Now that was screaming its head off, as you heard, and that's it there. It's a little bit big. Oops, sorry. A little bit bigger than the previous piece, but I'm only 3 meters from that one. So I'll keep looking. All right, let's just weigh these 2 pieces. I'll turn the scales on. Okay, this was the first bit we found. 0.41, which is nice. Make sure that goes back to 0. And the second piece that screamed its head off. 0.48. So put the 2 together and we get 0.89 of a gram. At $87 a gram, we're looking at about that much. So add that to the first one. Yeah, really pleased with that. Well, this is the last day we're going to be here at this particular site. So this afternoon we're packing up. Tomorrow morning we're going to hit the road. And I just come back to the spot where I found that big nugget, and I chained one section of around where that nugget was, and didn't find anything else, but you know, if you think there's one, there might be two. Anyway, I've come out here this morning and I'm just looking on the west side of where I found the nugget, and I've just wandering around and I've just got this. Let me just turn the camera around and I'll show you what we've got. And I just scratched the ground in case it was a hot rock, and I don't think it is. So if I come over here, so I reckon it's about there. So if I come around here from the 90 degrees around just to see if it lines up in the same spot. Now to me that's definitely a target. So I'll put the camera down and I'll have a bit of a scratch around and I'll come and show you if we find anything. Alright, I've narrowed it down to it's in my scoop. I've been through the pile twice. You can hear that. So let me just... Well, it might be my hand, is it? Oh, it's still there. Oh, ho, ho. There it is. There it is. Look at that. Well, you can see this. It's only a little baby bit, but as I said the other day, look at that. Let me put it in the scoop. It's a small bit, but hey, I'll take a small bit of gold every day. That's probably maybe 0.3, but now that is, I'll give you some idea, that is about up in there, about 20 metres up in there is where I found that big 6.3 grammer. So I was convinced there might be another bit, and there it is. Alright, so Rusty's a happy camper today. Well, I'm pretty much standing on a line between that last nugget I found just up there, and I went down here somewhere was where I found those 2 sub-grammers the other day. Now anyway, what I've got here, I'll just show you on the ground. What I've got here is this. Whoa! Now that is either the biggest nugget I've ever seen. It's going to pay off my motor, or it's something else. Alright, so let me put the camera down, I'll have a bit of a scrape, and I'll show you what we find. Well, as you can see, I've dug a bit of a hole, and it's still in the hole. So, unless someone's buried a car in there, I better keep digging. Whatever it is, it's out of the hole. It's over on this side of the pile. Let me just run my coil. So it's just come out, so it's going to be in there. Alright, let me have a scratch around, see what I can find. It's plain hard to get, whatever it is. Oh, fuck, excuse my language, have a look at this. I've just found it. Look at that. No wonder the bloody jobby screamed. Holy dolly. Now that was down about 8 inches. You heard the coil screaming. Well, well, well. 3 holes in the ground. Have a look at that. Now I'm probably 30 metres, oh, where's my finger? Up there about 30 metres is where I just found that little 0.3 or whatever it was. And I've walked the line down to my big, where I found those 2 little ones. And that, oh man, that's got to be half an ounce. Get out of here. Yeah. I reckon this has got to be called a patch now, because I've found 5 pieces in this general area. And Ted found 3. Wow. Oh, stoked. Yep, that's a beautiful looking nugget. Now I just better check there's not another one in here, and I'll fill the hole in. Let's put these 2 on the scales. This is the little one I found this morning. 0.43. Alright, that's okay. And now this big jobby that we found, what's that going to go? 18.3. Wow. I thought that was probably, you know, maybe half an ounce, maybe, which is what, 15.5 grams. Okay, let me just tap the screen. All right, let's put these other ones on so we get a total for the trip. So that's that little one. That's the one from the other day, and then there was that one, and that was the 6 grammer from the other day. So total score, 25.94 grams. So 31.1's an ounce. So that is awesome. That's a huge result. So really pleased with that. Yeah, got to thank Ted. He's the one who found the ground initially and said go and have a swing over there. So wow, that's a huge result. I'm stoked. Well, we've been out here 2 weeks now, and it's time to hit the road and head home. Ted and I have got a couple little things to do on the way home, but that won't be part of this video. I'd just like to thank Ted for having me along on this, 3 months in the planning, wasn't it?
Virtually that, yeah.
Yeah, Ted organised all the permissions to come onto these live tenements to come and prospect, and yeah, very grateful for his guidance, and especially on that little patch over there that we found some gold on. You remember you were saying last night around the campfire about making a list of things that you've got to tweak when you get home. How big was your list?
Oh, 26 items so far, yeah.
I've got a similar thing. Every time we come away, I always think of little things, and Ted's the same. So we've got some ideas now to tweak a few little things. Nothing serious, but just minor. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this trip. And I just again like to thank Ted for having me along.
No problems, glad to do it.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
So if you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up would be appreciated. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, the subscribe button will be down here somewhere. And if you like, click the little bell icon, you'll get notified of upcoming videos. If you have any comments or queries, please put them in the link below. I mentioned earlier my twin brother Rusty from Rusty's Metal Cut Signs and Designs, who made that fire pit, and Ted and I have worked out a few little extra things with it to improve it. So yeah, check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description below. So thanks again for watching. I'm glad you come along on the journey. It was really nice to find some yellow rocks. That was the plan, and we'll catch you in the next one.